This is part 2. Alright, so this is my nephew. As you can see, we have 2 different skin tones. Alright? He's high yellow. Like literally high yellow. And I'm just yellow. Anyway, so I played the video with this lady, the grandma racist, who I don't know who she is. Alright? So as you can see, my nephew has a different tone of skin than I do. As most mixed people come from families who are mixed, we have different skin tones. He has my mother's color. You know? And I have a combo of my mother and my father's color. He straight ain't got no color of his parents. He got my mama's color. So, mixed children have mixed kids. Get down, you're not touching my phone. You are fine right where you at. If you want to leave the room, you can feel free to leave the room, but take your ball with you when you go. Yeah, that's your ball. You can take that with you when you go. And yes, I see that it glows in the dark, which is very lovely. He's like 1 or 2 years old. I have no idea how old he is because he's not mine. But anyway, the point of the matter is now it's time for me to explain and educate a lot of non-mixed people. Alright? If you aren't mixed, this is not normal for you. Everybody in my family has a different skin tone because we are mixed. Alright? If I had his skin tone, I'd be in the house. People would not know that I wasn't white. I'd be white passing. This is not a joke. I would straight be white passing. No. Now, I don't have his skin tone, but I have better hair. Anyway, that being said, I'm going to tell you a story. Alright? And hopefully he won't get in my way and disturb the video. Now, all my life, I have been the victim of racism. Understand that when I see things like this, I have been there. Not as extreme as this, but I have been there. Maybe more extreme, maybe less extreme. Just depends on where you are in life. So in grade school, I was called half-breed a lot until we found out that I was part Native American. So there is no triple half-breed thing. There's just, now you're mixed. So let me give you the rundown. Both my parents have Native American and black, and one of my parents has white. In other words, on my mom's side, one of her parents' was white. One of her parents was Native American, one was black. So one was black and white, and one was Native American and black. Possibly just Native American, we don't really know. We don't really give a damn. Anyway, point being made, you can leave, just don't touch my spider suit. The door's open. All you gotta do is grab the knob. If you want to go, the door's open. Feel free to go. Just make sure you take your ball to the living room when you go. Maybe find some shorts. Without falling. Love you, bye-bye. That's going to bust back open in a minute or two. Anyhow, unless he does something incredibly stupid. Well, he's like 1 or 2, so he just might. So anyhow, I had a lot of issues growing up. Race wars. Lost a lot of white friends because of an incident in the 4th grade or the 3rd grade where I punched a white girl in the mouth for calling me the N-word. Now, I was raised to not hit girls. However, reflex action, Cherokee fire, black rage, whatever the hell you want to call it. Maybe the white side of me just casually stepped aside and said, I'm going to let the black and the native take over. This also happened before I found out I was native. And I hit her in the mouth. It wasn't my best hour. I still haven't forgiven myself to this day, even though she was in the wrong for calling me the N-word. And we were in the 4th grade or the 3rd grade, and we were arguing over something stupid, which was probably crayons, maybe chalk, I don't know. We were outside arguing, so it probably wasn't definitely chalk or crayons. But when she came out of her mouth and said, James, you're an... And the next thing I knew, my hand said, boop! And there was blood and a lot of screaming. And then the principal had me in his office, and I refused to tell him what she said. Because I hadn't been in trouble my entire school career in grade school until that day. And I didn't like getting in trouble. I didn't like the feeling that it presented me. But, she called me N-word. And he had to literally force me to talk. Because I wasn't going to say it. I wasn't going to repeat it. Because we didn't use those words in our house. We didn't use those tones in our house. We didn't use those terms in our house. Even with ghetto music, it could play it. but we never were around it really saying it. And so, you know, when I finally told them, they had a meeting with my mom, and of course they thought it was two white kids when they saw how white my mom looked. And it's like, oh, well. Then my mom's like, well, actually, I'm not white. I'm actually black. I'm just very, very light skinned. And secondly, if I would have been in my son's shoes, this is the first time my mama actually has defended me, I would have done the same damn thing. Y'all shouldn't be raising your daughter to be racist. And the principal said, yeah, and that's why he's not going to get in trouble, because your daughter should not have came out her mouth with the N-word. And if, secondly, if you don't want your daughter to get hurt, we would advise you to stop telling her that it is okay to call black people that. And so that was that. So the situation. The young guy on Instagram is coming at me for all of this crap. You know, if you have not been the victim of racism, you've been blessed. But racism ain't just like all white people. There are just as many black people and Asian people who are racist as there are white people. And we all need to understand that. Racism does not discriminate. Racists come in all colors of human beings. Now, I have only had one, if you want to call it a racist incident, in childhood with an Asian, and I will explain that term in a minute. And he was from Vietnam, but his last name was Zhang. But Zhang is a Chinese name. Apparently it's interchangeable. But me and Zhang got to arguing, and he had said something, and then I had said something, and both of us were being little racist little kids. And then I told him to go back to China and eat rice cakes, and he told me, F you, I am from Vietnam, and you're a half-breed. And that's pretty much where that ended right there, because he kind of started with, you're a half-breed, and then I said, F you, go eat your rice cakes, go back to China. And he said, no, I'm from fucking Vietnam. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? Yeah, I didn't know what Vietnam was, even though I was born on the ass end of the Vietnam War. Now, Zhang and I, we were cool after that, you know. And then they went to a different school, so I never got to saw Zhang again. And Zhang was a cool dude. Believe me, he was in just as bad shape as I was, because he was like literally the only Asian in Burley-Moran at the time. Him and his sister were literally the only Asians at that school at that time. And after that grade, they went to another school. I don't know what school they went to. So Zhang, thank you, brother. Now, as time got on, a race war broke out, which Zhang was luckily not in the school and had no need to worry, because he wouldn't have been able to pick a side either. Well, the whites didn't want me and the blacks didn't want me because I was mixed. They both thought that I would betray both sides. Then when we got to the fifth grade, long after the race war was over, because the race war happened between the third and fourth grade, and the Zhang thing happened between the third and second grade. Either way, it was a race war. Zhang wasn't there. And by the time we got to fifth grade, when my fifth grade teacher, Miss Conrad, God rest her soul, outed me for being Native, because I didn't know. I found out because here's the thing. When you were mixed, no matter what race you're mixed with, you don't see your family's race. You know what you are, but like if you have a black dad and a white mom, they're just mom and dad. They're not this white woman and this black man, or vice versa. They're not this white man, this black woman, or this Asian woman and this white man, or this Asian woman, this black man, or this Asian man, this black woman, etc. You get the gist. All right? I always knew my great-grandmother was Cherokee. I just didn't know what the fuck that shit was. She always told me Native American stories. I didn't know what that shit was. It's just grandma. Great-grandma and grandma. And the only thing that I really didn't like about being Native American was fucking corn. I still hate corn. You need a nap. What happened? Who hit you? Yeah. Anyway. Oh no. Are you doodling? Oh, crap. We are experiencing technical difficulties. Don't move and don't touch my pajama pants. I will have to make another video. Thank you guys for watching. This is Cup Graphic number 2. Be seeing you. And I think I may or might have got a little bit of crap on my